Today we're going to be doing a betting breakdown video for the main card for UFC Vegas 33. And the website I'm going to be using right here is OddsJam.com. Pretty cool website. I know I've had a few people hit me up. They've been asking me, because Best Fight Odds, they changed very many offshore books at all anymore. So I actually found a website here, OddsJam.com. And I was informed that they're going to be adding Bet Online and Five Dimes this week, I believe on Friday. So they're going to be having those books added on there as well. But you can see here just from this first fight, Bryan Barberena versus Jason Witt, they do have quite a few books available to look at that Best Fight Odds had taken off their website. And also, every book you could think of almost. Besides them having Bet Online and Five Dimes added this week, they're already giving you BetMGM, Betfair, Bookmaker, Borgata. They're giving you Caesars, DraftKings, Fox Bet, FanDuel, William Hill, BWin. So they're giving you a ton of books, that are giving UFC odds. It's a pretty easy website. It's a pretty good design as well. Pretty easy to use right here. These are all the money line odds. You could switch it to go the distance, the method of victory here, and the total rounds. So it's a really easy interface to use. It's, very easy to navigate. You could tell, even if you're not really that good with websites, that, you could probably figure it out pretty easy. But with this first fight night, Bryan Barberena versus Jason Witt, just talking about what I think about the odds and what I think about the fight in general. In terms of the money line, I don't really even trust Bryan Barberena in a parlay at minus 250, minus 275. You can get him at minus 250 at the best at certain books, but it's just because Bryan Barberena is one of these guys that I feel more comfortable betting on as an underdog. I feel as if when he's a minus 250 favorite, Jason Witt does have the opportunity to come in here, use his wrestling, and, spoil your night. So I'm going to be more looking at the props, fight goes to decision and fight doesn't go to decision. So right now for the fight goes to decision, they have a few books that open the odds for that. And they got the fight doesn't go to decision favored, so they do think that Barberena is either going to get a knockout or maybe Jason Witt is going to be getting a submission. But I think they're highly, highly probably favoring the knockout for Barberena. We're going to be able to see in a second when we look at the method of victory props. But I do feel as if the fight most likely won't go to decision. But looking at those odds, 2-1 odds that it won't go to decision, I almost feel like the value is on the fight to go to decision personally, because it's possible that maybe Jason Witt can hold up, and it could be, a fun fight where he eats some shots and is able to hit a takedown. It's kind of close, or maybe Witt can just take him down and control him. But, the more I think about it, really, I do think Barberena will probably get the knockout in this one. I just don't really like laying the juice like that on the fight not to go to decision. For the method of victory here, like I said, Barberena by KO, TKO, DQ, or submission, basically pick 'em odds, plus 100. For him to win by KO, TKO at plus 130, that's probably what I think is most likely. I don't really see him hitting a submission. Don't really see him winning on points. Jason Witt by decision plus 480, that's probably the way Jason Witt will get the victory. Don't really see Jason Witt getting a submission, getting a KO, TKO win. So, the props that I think would be live in that fight would be Jason Witt by decision, Bryan Barberena by KO, probably KO or decision. So, I feel like KO is probably the most likely, though. As far as the over-under, for the under 2.5 rounds, minus 150, minus 155, they got it at Bookmaker here, minus 145 on DraftKings book, so that's a little bit better price. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. Minus 145, minus 155 for the under 2.5 rounds. I think more than likely you'll probably hit that bet. It's a lot better odds than the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200, and all you have to do is hope that they don't get the finish in that last 2.5 minutes, where I do feel like it'll probably be before that. So if you were going to go with that bet, or the fight doesn't go to decision, I would favor the under 2.5 rounds. Hit that minus 145, minus 155, and maybe you could cash out on that one. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for this first fight. Just in terms of all the props and the money line, Bryan Barberena versus Jason Witt here. And up next here we got Ryan Benoit versus Saruk Adashev. So the money line on this fight is really close here. We got basically pick 'em odds. Ryan Benoit is the slight favorite here. And I agree with the odds because you could never, I mean, I don't think you could favor a guy that's 3-3 in the UFC. It's very difficult, especially with Benoit having that much higher level competition and just having a lot more experience overall. But I do feel like Ryan Benoit, very inconsistent guy, not trustworthy guy, and Zaruk Adeshev has to be lined fairly close to him because he could get the victory on the feet. I feel like Adeshev actually has the advantage. And if I had to bet on someone, it would be a dog or pass situation for me. So for me, the pick would be Adeshev and the bet would be Adeshev on the money line. I just feel as if, it's kind of a coin flip fight. I actually feel like, in my opinion, it edges to Adeshev. So if I have that opinion, he's a little bit of a plus money underdog. It's probably not the worst bet in the world to throw a little bit of money on him if you share my opinion on the fight. I feel as if Adeshev is a little bit faster. He's a little bit sharper. Don't really see Benoit using his wrestling, so I think Adeshev could just win a striking battle here. And, it's not a great value. You're not getting like 2-to-1 odds or anything, but you are getting a slight underdog price there. And as far as the fight doesn't go to decision here, they got no at plus 120, yes at minus 161. So they got this fight line fairly close to it, not for it to not go to decision versus to go to decision. I actually lean for it to go to decision. They're flyweights. Ryan Benoit does have some pop, but I don't necessarily seeing him being able to line up and knock out a striker like Adeshev. Adeshev was knocked out by Tyson Nam, but came in very out of shape for that fight. I don't really think it was indicative of his full skill set. And I'm going to show you another thing here that OddsJam offers that really helps bettors out as well. I mean, you could just make free money off this arbitrage betting, and they essentially just do all the work for you here. So when this line first opened here with the fight doesn't go to decision for this Ryan Benoit versus Zaruk Adeshev fight, you were able to get odds on the fight to go to decision at FanDuel at plus 124, and you could get odds not to go to decision at DraftKings Sportsbook at plus 130. So they're telling you right here, and they give you a calculator to use. It's very easy. If you wanted to stake $500 on the fight not to go to decision on the DraftKings Sportsbook at plus 130, if you were to go on to the FanDuel Sportsbook, bet the fight to go to decision at the plus 124 odds that they offered at the time with $513.39, you'd be guaranteed a payout here of $136.61. So you're automatically guaranteeing yourself free money here, and you're also, able to get it on a good number, and they give it to you for free. So they don't give it to you for free, the information, but once you sign up, the information just shows up, and it's, you can just jump on the website and see it right away. So it's a super useful tool, man, and they're basically giving you everything right there. I mean, you don't have to do the math. You don't have to go to the books and see, what odds are differentiating from each other, and you don't even have to, figure out where the arbitrage is. They do it right there for you. They have a full list. After I do the UFC breakdown in here, I will show you a few of their baseball ones as well, where you could just see all day they're giving you guys free money on these bets, man. It's definitely worth it if you, get a subscription. It'll pay you. You'll get paid back pretty quickly. But, I do think the fight will probably go to decision. And right now, the odds are getting a little bit wider, minus 160. But I almost think all the way to minus 200. I think that has a decent amount of value there for that prop. For the method, obviously I'm thinking Zaruk Adeshev is going to get the win. So he's already an underdog. I don't really want to juice it up too much. If I pick him, I'd probably just bet the money line. But him by points, plus 260, you're going to get, basically, almost a little bit of a jump, almost 250 points. I guess if you think Benoit has a chance at the knockout or the submission price is intriguing because obviously Adeshev is a guy that hasn't really shown much on the ground. Benoit's a guy that's been training with Gary Tonin in the past, things like that. He almost caught Tim Elliott in that knee bar. So, potentially you could cash out if you bet on Benoit by submission. He catches a submission, but that's obviously not usually his style. Him winning by decision, plus 165. Those odds I don't really like too much, to be honest with you. But to me, I think probably, Zaruk Adeshev money line is the best bet if you think he's going to win. If you're going to go with Benoit, I would maybe bet him, by maybe his money line and then sprinkle a little bit on the submission and the KO. And maybe you'll, get some extra money from getting a nice finish there. But in terms of the total rounds, over 1.5, under 1.5, you got to pay a pretty steep price to get that over 1.5 minus 350. I almost feel like the under 1.5 has some value there, potentially, maybe, but I do think the fight's going to go to decision. So overall, I don't really see a lot of value on those props. I would rather just bet the fight goes to decision than those. So that's kind of my view on this fight right here with the odds. Ryan Benoit versus Farouk Adeshev. In terms of this fight right here, Cheyenne Buys versus Gloria DePaula, I really don't want to have much to do with it personally. I mean, it would be a dog or pass for me. I'd bet on DePaula if I had to, but I do feel like Cheyenne Buys is going to get the win, bounce back here. So just don't have a lot of interest. It's kind of a low-level fight for me. I do think the fight doesn't go to decision. If you can get it at like a plus 245 price tag, which is significantly higher than other books have it, that's not terrible, because I feel like Gloria DePaula, if she gets the win, has a chance of getting it inside the distance, and I do think it would be via submission. So that's something you could look at on the method of victory prop as well. Gloria DePaula by submission plus 1,600. Don't think that's horrible. If Cheyenne Buys, comes in there with a game plan that her team devised to get the takedowns, because they just saw Jinh Yu Frey do the same thing. She ends up in the guard, gets armbarred. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. So, I feel like her by submission, at plus 1,600, plus 1,400 is not too bad there. Cheyenne Buys by decision at minus 105, I just don't really like that. I mean, I would rather it to be plus money if I was going to bet that. So, not more interest maybe chasing that big money with the submission by DePaula, if anything. And don't really have any interest in these props either, in terms of the over-unders as well. But co-main event, Uriah versus Kyung Ho Kang. This is a fight that money line and just betting on someone outright, method of victory, I don't really, have a big inclination to do that. I don't think that there's really a lot of value on either side. There's not a lot of value, in my opinion, on the fight to go to distance or not, because it's always tough with the Uriah fight. You could, get the finish early, so you never really want to bet no. But I don't really feel like Kang has a chance to finish Hani, more than likely. Hani's very tough to finish, and if Hani, gets out of that first round, his likelihood of getting the finish really diminishes. So if I had to pick one, I would pick the fight to go to decision personally. But I'm thinking, a draw plus 5,000, I mean, that's not terrible anytime you get a Uriah fight, because the guy comes out so hot. He just recently had a draw against Enrique Barzola, so that would not be the strangest outcome in the world to get a plus 5,000 draw. That'd be a nice hit right there. Obviously, Uriah by submission is always, a bet that's nice. Plus 250. You got him by points, plus 470. I think if Kang wins, it's going to be by points more than likely, so plus 160 for him there. I'd much rather take the plus 470 on Hani or the plus 5,000 on the draw. And that's kind of what I would think maybe. I don't really have a strong read on this fight, like I said, in terms of who I think is going to be the clear winner. So I'd personally just probably pass. But if I had to bet, maybe bet the draw, or bet Uriah by points, because I think those odds are pretty good there. Then finally, we got the main event here. We got Sean Strickland taking on Uriah Hall. And like I said on my video that's going to be coming out right before this as well, if you're watching this before, make sure to check out my prediction video, full card predictions. But Sean Strickland, Uriah Hall, I don't agree with the money line here. I think it should be a little bit closer, because Sean Strickland is a forward pressure guy. Uriah Hall likes to snipe you going backwards, and I think they're not giving Hall enough respect in terms of being able to potentially find that knockout. I think the line should be maybe Strickland minus 150. It should be, there's some value there on Uriah Hall, in my opinion. But for the fight not to go to decision, it's getting up there now. I saw it was earlier. The odds were a little bit better. Now it's at almost minus 227 on Betfair. That's pretty high. But minus 175 on DraftKings is not bad. Minus 170. I do feel like it's not going to go to decision. I'd be pretty surprised. I feel like either guy that's going to win it's either going to be Sean Strickland breaking Uriah Hall, or it's going to be Uriah Hall finding that kill shot KO, one shot type of KO. So, that's kind of what I see happening. Strickland by KO TKO plus 175, Hall by KO TKO plus 300. Hall by knockout at plus 300 odds also isn't bad, but when you have him as such a decent underdog, almost 2-1, I think that's the better way to go. In terms of Strickland by knockout plus 175, that's not bad. I mean, I like that more than him winning minus 220 on the money line. But I'm not sure about betting a props on Sean Strickland. I don't really feel betting on Sean Strickland in this spot just because of just where he's priced on the odds. But total rounds, I do think that there's some value on some of these. I think the under 3.5 rounds has some decent value because I just don't really think it's going to go that much. You have to go a full 3 rounds halfway through the 4th round. I'd be pretty surprised. Even the under 4.5 rounds, minus 150, I think that both those have some decent value because, like I said, I just feel like Strickland's either going to break him by the late 2nd, 3rd round, or Uriah Hall is going to land that kill shot on Strickland, who kind of comes forward and is a little bit sloppy with his defense, and someone's going to be getting that win by finish. So that's kind of what I see happening. So I do think that the unders on that one, maybe you could stack up on them and, make some money there because I do think that, maybe it'll go over like 2.5 rounds. I'm not going to guarantee that one because I do think maybe the 3rd round it could get done. But I think that it definitely is going to be under 3.5 and under 4.5 here. But all right, let me show you some of the tools and things that they have here for you on this website, OddsJam.com. Make sure to check it out. So these are live actually. So right now they got these arbitrage bets for you that are available right now for baseball. So you can look right here. You see Los Angeles Angels versus Colorado Rockies. They got this player total strikeouts right here, plus 115 on these books right here, plus 100 on Betway. You click the calculator right here. So let's say you wanted to bet $1,000 on the plus 115 on either BetMGM, Borgata, or BWin. Then you would get obviously the $21.50 payout right there. Or if you bet the under at Betway at plus 100, you would get $10.75 back. So you're guaranteeing yourself, if you made both these bets, $75 profit. So if you want to just join this website, man, they're going to give you free money all day. I mean, they got all these all these matchups here. They had even more earlier today. They had a UFC one, obviously, with Uriah Benoit versus Farouk Adeshev. Another thing they offer here is positive EV bets. You can see all those right here as well. Ton of baseball that they got tomorrow, today. They got a lot of stuff there. And also, I'm going to be putting the link in the description to this website. I'm also going to be putting a link for if you want to sign up. You could sign up through my link. And yeah, man, you could start winning on this website. And just overall, like I said, they do show you a lot of different odds for offshore books that aren't offered on Best Fight Odds anymore. They got some nice tools for you to use. So I'm going to be using this website for a few of my videos. I enjoy the website. I think it's really nice, and I think you should check it out for sure. So make sure to check out OddsJam.com. And thanks for watching the video. This UFC Vegas 33 betting breakdown, and I'll talk to you guys later.